Everybody, welcome to today's video where we are going to do a top 5. First time ever, a little something different for this channel. Alright, let's begin. So making this top 5 list for Legends only, I had a couple of quantifiers, some things that helped me sort through all the books that have existed in Star Wars Legends. Very first, obviously, it has to be Legends. It can't be any of the new canon stuff, because that's the point of this video. Maybe we'll get to that one at a later date. Another qualifier is it needed to be a standalone book. I wanted people to have the ability to just go out, pick up this book, and enjoy it all on its own, have its own story. Because of this, there's some great books or even series that I left out, such as the Coruscant Night series that I really loved. And then of course the Jedi Apprentice series, Jedi Quest series, the Last of the Jedi series, those ones mainly by Jude Watson. Great books, a lot of stuff to dig into there if you're into Jedi philosophy. But again, wanted to give you just a book you could grab, enjoy, and gain something from it. So it had to be quotable as well, and it needed to deal with Jedi philosophy at some point or in some way within the book. I'm going to list top 5, starting with number 5 and going to number 1 with my own kind of criteria. Yes, the thumbnail is not just clickbait. I'm going to spoil it right now. I did not pick Traitor from the new Jedi Order series. Again, it's arguably in a series, so it doesn't really work, right? It doesn't fit into my criteria, but it is good, and the author, Matthew Stover, does show up in this list. So let's begin. Number 5. All right, so we're going to begin with I, Jedi. I, Jedi is a really good book, and it goes back to those times when Star Wars was still in the hands of George Lucas, so if you love that, it has that going for you. Of course, it also kind of highlights how George Lucas really didn't care about that, anything that wasn't his canon, right? Like the G canon. If it wasn't there, he didn't care about it, and he will totally mess up your books. You can look at Splinters of a Mind's Eye for that lesson. That's a whole other topic. This book is good because it kind of explores the Jedi, but also an older individual kind of dealing with their place in the world, in the galaxy, and how they relate to the Jedi Order, Jedi philosophy. How does that fit in with kind of more gritty problems, not just sitting in a temple learning how to meditate and do Ubi powers, but how does this relate to actual problems when they arise? But it's a really good book on its own. It does have some good quotes, so I do recommend number 5. I, Jedi. All right, number 4, Knight Errant. Knight Errant is a really good book. If you wanted to pick up the comic series, which you could do, it explores the main character and that time period a lot better. And it's a good comics. It's a very fun series if you want to pick it up. However, the book is standalone. You can read it on its own, and it explores just how to be a Jedi and the ease of compromise that can happen, and dealing with facing tough situations as a Jedi, and the real desire of wanting to kind of put it aside for the better of everybody, right? Like, it deals with the compromise of, do the ends justify the means, and does that fit into Jedi philosophy? It's a really good book. I highly recommend it. It does have quotes. It's fun. It takes place in a part of the Star Wars universe that doesn't really get explored a whole lot. So I do recommend it. And yeah, we'll move on. It's good. Go check it out. This next book, number 3, Cloak of Deception. This has some really good stuff. It's also, if you followed our other series, where the 10 rules of Jedi engagement was created, where it comes from. Also, this author did the novelization for episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which is also like, has some really good stuff in it, has some really good, like, explores like the light and dark very well. This book is great. It's got some quotes, it's got Jedi philosophy, it's got everything you really need. It has the Obi-Wan Qui-Gon stuff. I don't know. I can't say more about it. I can't praise it really enough. I really enjoyed it when I first picked it up. Again, this came out after episode 1, and really kind of grabs that prequel vibe and really flows into that time period. So if you enjoyed that time period, if you enjoyed those movies, I think you'll really like this book. It is good for Jedi philosophy. As I said, 10 rules of engagement are there. Anytime you have Qui-Gon and young Obi-Wan, the lessons that kind of bounce off those two characters tends to be really good and tends to be things that we can take into our everyday lives. If this was a canon one, if we did do a canon video, obviously Master and Apprentice would be on there simply for that reason alone. So absolutely, I recommend check it out. Number 2, this one's probably going to come as a surprise. I don't know how many people have actually picked it up, but if you're at Jedi Living's like Academy or you know me personally, then you know I've recommended this book, which is Star Wars Scourge by Jeff Grubb. Like, it's a good book. It can be a bit dry on the writing side. It's something I always warn people about. But what I love about this book, what really grabs me about this book, why I always recommend this book, is because it digs into the ethics of the Jedi mind trick, which I think is such an overlooked aspect. We kind of just take Obi-Wan's line of "these are not the droids you're looking for" and kind of just sweep it under the rug and like, oh, that's a neat trick, that's cool. This book explores what that actually does and what that actually means, and the trust between Jedi Master and Jedi student and what that teaching relationship means. It just has a lot of good stuff. It's a really interesting story. I really like the story. I really feel like it's kind of up there with Solo movie. Like, it has that kind of vibe to it. And yeah, I don't know. I just really like this book. It explores the ethics of Jedi training and the Jedi mind tricks and their powers and that sort of thing. It also has a main character that struggles with being a Jedi, like what that means, and being in an order full of, you know, Kenobis and Qui-Gon Jinns and Mace Windu and stuff, and not being any of those things, right? Like, it explores that kind of, you have this order of heroes, and then you're just your average Jedi. What does that mean with it? And I love that. I love it. So I really like this book. If I could put it number 1, I probably would have, but number 1 is, it's currently unbeatable right now, I think. All right, and the number 1 book, absolutely for Jedi philosophy from the Legends, is Shatterpoint. Shatterpoint wins it just on quote ability alone. That alone makes it number 1. You can't really beat it. If you're going to go through your books with a highlighter highlighting like Jedi philosophy, for standalone stories, for Legends, you can't beat Shatterpoint. There's just so much good stuff. Talking about war, talking about the light side, dark side, the struggles we all face, the struggles Jedi face. All of that is there. It's all in there. The story has this real flow to it. Of course, this is the same author who wrote Traitor. So, you know, if you liked that book, if you liked the flow of that story, if you liked how the characters interacted, then you're gonna like this book as well. It's really well done. He seems to have a really good grasp on fictional Jedi philosophy, but it's still provided in a way, in a context that you will be able to kind of explore yourself. You get to take these quotes and these ideas and these situations, and if you remove them from Star Wars and just explore them, it does provide a lot of ground for Jedi philosophy and how you can apply it into your everyday life. So absolutely, highly recommend it. It's number 1 just on that alone. Mace Windu, if you've always wanted to kind of explore Mace Windu's character, why is he up there with Yoda? Like, why is he number 2? Why does Yoda listen to him? Why does the rest of the council kind of like defer to him? This book will really help you with that understanding. Yeah, this one's a good one. So I really recommend it. Number 1, all 5 books, obviously I recommend, along with a plethora of others. If you can pick up the Jedi Apprentice series, obviously that's a good one. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed our top 5 list of Star Wars Legends books for Jedi philosophy. Thank you for watching. You know where the buttons are. May the Force be with you.